In the beginning of the film, we meet a young girl named Gwen, who resided in a quaint English village. She eagerly delivers a heartfelt letter addressed to Santa Claus. After that, the scene shifts to the North Pole, where we are introduced to Santa's younger son Arthur. He diligently oversees the task of responding to children's letters to Santa from around the globe. As he reads Gwen's letter, he learns of her earnest desire for a pink bicycle. And if her wish is not fulfilled, then she will stop believing in Santa. Understanding the significance of fulfilling her wish to maintain her belief in Santa, Arthur assures her with a heartfelt reply, urging her to keep faith. Meanwhile, on Christmas Eve, we witness the bustling activity at the North Pole as Santa Claus, known as Malcolm, who was preparing for his annual gift-giving journey. He was accompanied by a legion of highly skilled elves and employing state-of-the-art technology. Santa orchestrates the meticulous distribution of presents to children worldwide. Santa had now evolved with time, and he utilized a sophisticated craft known as the S1. As he had replaced his traditional sleighs and reindeers, this enabled swifter deliveries and seamless coordination among the team. Amidst the flurry of activity, we encounter Santa's eldest son Steve, who plays a pivotal role in managing the complex operations from the control room when Arthur arrives with Gwen's letter. However, in his haste, Arthur inadvertently disrupts the orderly operation of the control room. Much to Steve's irritation, consequently, Steve swiftly ushers Arthur out of the room. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos, it becomes apparent to Steve and all the elves that a child is awake, and Santa is now present in their home. In a bid to resolve the situation swiftly, Steve mobilizes his special forces to swiftly extract Santa and the elves from the precarious situation, and with the assistance of his elite team, Santa and the elves successfully make their escape. But in the meantime, a gift comes out of the delivery line, about which no one notices at that time, and with this they all believe that they have succeeded in their mission to distribute gifts all over the world. This makes everyone very happy. And in the midst of their jubilation, their Santa announces about continuing his gift-giving duties for the next year. This casts a shadow of sorrow over Steve, as he had eagerly anticipated stepping into his father's shoes as Santa. Meanwhile, Arthur's grandfather, who was a former Santa himself, was now retired. He disregards the modern approach of using high-tech equipment for gift delivery and staunchly upholds the traditional methods of sleigh and reindeer, as this was a source for immense pride for him. During a tense dinner conversation with Steve, the clash of ideologies emerges, with Steve praising the virtues of technology and the efficiency it has brought to Christmas operations over the years. However, their conversation gets disrupted when Steve receives a distressing message, which prompts him to hurriedly leave the table in a state of apprehension in the control room. Brownie the elf informs them that a gift was mistakenly forgotten to be delivered to a child. At that moment, Arthur enters and discovers the oversight, and feeling deeply troubled for the child who won't receive his gift. Despite Arthur's concern, Santa arrives, and Arthur confides in him about the situation. On this, Santa instructs Steve to devise a solution, but Steve explains that it's nearly morning, which makes it impossible to deliver the gift now. He also rejects the idea of using the S1 craft again so soon, fearing it could sustain damage. Consequently, Steve concludes that missing one child's gift doesn't matter, emphasizing his own performance as exemplary. Santa reluctantly agrees with Steve's assessment and aligns with his decision. However, Arthur remains dissatisfied with this outcome. He takes it upon himself to investigate further, uncovering that the neglected gift belonged to Gwen, the same girl he previously corresponded with. Overwhelmed with sadness, Arthur reflects on Gwen's disappointment. Just then, his grandpa enters the room, presumably to offer support and guidance. Arthur's grandfather, upon sensing his uncertainty, reassures him and suggests that he may have a solution to help him. He leads Arthur to a shed and reveals his old sledge stored within. With a gesture filled with significance, his grandpa presents Arthur with a can containing magical dust, igniting Arthur's curiosity and anticipation. As they step into the shed, Arthur's eyes widen at the sight of a majestic reindeer tethered nearby. Despite his initial nerves, Arthur's grandpa reassures him and instills confidence by emphasizing the opportunity to make his father proud. Emboldened by these words, Arthur eagerly accepts the challenge ahead. And with the sledge and reindeer prepared, they embark on their journey to deliver a gift to Gwen. Unbeknownst to Steve and his father, initially Arthur grapples with nervousness as he navigates the unfamiliar terrain atop the sledge. However, with each passing moment, his anxiety dissipates and replaced by a growing sense of comfort and control. However, their journey is fraught with challenges, as they encounter unfamiliar landscapes altered by the passage of time. Amidst this, they encounter Brownie the elf, who had also come along with them. and he possessed remarkable speed in wrapping gifts. The journey takes an unexpected turn when one of their reindeer stumbles and is left behind in the bustling city. In a desperate bid to replace the lost reindeer, they resort to procuring fake replacements from a nearby signboard. But this attracts the attention of the establishment's owner. Despite Arthur's earnest attempts to explain their predicament, the man remains skeptical and entertains wild theories of alien intervention. But hastily departing from the scene, Arthur and his grandpa press on with their journey, and eventually arrives at a location which was identified by Arthur's grandpa as England. However, their relief was short-lived as they confront a perilous encounter with lions, unexpected inhabitants of the supposed English countryside. Amidst the chaos, Brownie's revelation about their true location, which was deep within the African jungle, this leaves them stunned. But thinking quickly, Arthur uses his sleeper to hypnotize those lions and puts them into a peaceful slumber. On the other hand, when Steve learns about their sudden departure, he attempts to contact them, and to achieve this, he reaches out to an old elf named Ernie, who was once Grand Santa's trusted companion. Ernie sends a message through his machine, but unfortunately this inadvertently causes the lions to awaken again. This makes them in trouble again, but somehow after a great effort they finally manage to escape from their clutches. However, during this ordeal, his 2 reindeers leave behind. Consequently, Arthur resorts to using magical dust on them in a bid to take along with them. The magical dust proves effective, and the reindeers return to him. But unexpectedly, the magical dust causes the other animals nearby to also start levitating upwards. Oblivious to this unintended consequence, Arthur and the others depart using Brownie's GPS, and eventually arrive at a location called Trillium. Upon arrival, Arthur implores Santa to deliver the gift, but Santa expresses disinterest. So Arthur has to proceed to the designated house, accompanied by Brownie to leave the gift. However, upon reaching the house, they discover that the gift was already present there, leading them to realize they have arrived at the wrong location. Hastily, they race back towards the sleigh, but are soon pursued by both police and military forces, as due to previous encounter Arthur and Grandpa, they had mistaken them for aliens. Despite the escalating situation, Arthur remains steadfast in his determination to deliver the gift to Gwen. When Steve discovers his grandfather's and Arthur's actions, he reaches out to Arthur and urges them to return without causing further trouble. However, Arthur was determined to deliver the gift to Gwen, and he refuses Steve's request. But as they continue their journey, the sleigh becomes unbalanced, which leads them to an unexpected island. Disheartened by the setback, Arthur loses hope and believes he won't be able to fulfill his mission. However, Santa intervenes and offers words of encouragement to help Arthur regain his determination to deliver the gift to Gwen. On the other hand, all the elves approach Santa to discuss whether Gwen receiving the gift truly matters to him. Santa, unsure of the answer, advises them to speak with Steve about the issue. However, Steve struggles to comprehend their concerns, and this leads him to frustration. In response, Santa intervenes and attempts to explain the situation to Steve, but this only serves to anger him further and prompts Steve to storm off. Santa then retreats to the mailroom, where he reads Arthur's heartfelt letters and realizes his deep love for children. Meanwhile, Arthur's attention is drawn to Gwen's drawing, which prompts him to realize that he doesn't necessarily need Santa's assistance to fulfill Gwen's wish. So determined, Arthur locates a boat on the island and sets sail, but Brownie warns him that he'll simply end up circling around. However, Grand Santa has a revelation and suggests that right now my sleigh must be spinning around the earth rapidly, and will surely pass through. Here again, encouraged, Arthur sprinkles himself with magical dust and devises a plan to catch the sleigh. As he takes flight, he entangles a hook in the sleigh, and in this way they finally get their sleigh back. Meanwhile, upon learning of Steve's refusal, Santa, accompanied by his wife Margaret, sets out to retrieve Arthur and Grand Santa. Despite Steve's initial resistance, he eventually agrees to assist Santa, and the trio sets sail together. Concurrently, Grand Santa ascends to space aboard the sleigh to gain a clear view of the route to England, and they hasten in that direction. Meanwhile, in a separate development, Silva, the head of the Unfit Agency, observes the flash and speculates that it might be a UFO. Consequently, she convenes with other authorities to discuss launching an attack on the perceived threat. Meanwhile, the remaining reindeer from the sledge find themselves separated, and at the same time they got chased by the drones, as Silva had dispatched drones to attack them. Observing this, Grand Santa realizes the peril they face, so decisively he drops Arthur down with a parachute, accompanied by Brownie. Grand Santa then liberates the reindeer and leaps down, and just then the drone obliterates the sledge. Seeing which, Silva and his cohorts believe they have vanquished the threat. Conversely, Steve inadvertently arrives at the wrong location, leading him to pilfer gifts from a child. Meanwhile, Arthur reaches the correct destination this time. However, Gwen's abode lies further away. This prompts Arthur to utilize Gwen's cycle to reach her. Here, elves inform Santa that Arthur ventures to Gwen's house unaccompanied. In the interim, Brownie diligently rewraps Gwen's bicycle, and eventually they arrive at Gwen's residence. But soon they greeted by the dawn's light before Gwen awakens, so Santa comes there with his S1 craft, which induces Gwen to believe it's still nighttime, and prompts her to return to slumber. Arthur discreetly infiltrates her dwelling. Joined by Santa and Steve, upon noticing his father's presence, Arthur exudes joy. However, Grand Santa also arrives and sparks a debate with Steve over who will present Gwen's gift, so Santa intervenes and entrusts Arthur with the task. Subsequently, Arthur places the gift before Gwen stirs from her sleep. There they pause and witness Gwen's elation upon receiving her gift. Santa and Steve beam with pride at Arthur's accomplishment and resolves that he should succeed as the next Santa. With their mission accomplished, they depart, with culminating in a jubilant celebration. Thus the movie comes to an end.